What's up, everyone? Aaron Schatz here, Editor-in-Chief of ASE Publishing, and today we've got another review for you. This time, it's the Cherry MX Board 3.0. This guy right here. This is review ID 58863. You can check out this and all our reviews by going to www.aselabs.com. While you're there, you can check out the text summaries of all the reviews that we actually post. Even though we post all video reviews, and I'm going to stop you right now, hit the subscribe button right below here. You'll be informed of all the content as we post them. But if you are unable to watch a video, you can hit the description below to ASE Labs. You'll get a text summary of this review and all the reviews that we post. So, this is a review, right? Let's get into this. If you haven't seen the unboxing, I'll save you the trouble right now. You get the keyboard itself, a mini USB cord, it's about 6 feet, and you actually get a pair of feet that you can stick to the bottom of the keyboard that go in this position right here, this one and this one. But I found that the actual rubber feet on the front of the keyboard was fine to hold it on my desk. But if you needed some extra support, you can just plug in these larger feet. I didn't need to. It also comes with some instructions. But I'm going to go through the entire keyboard right now. You don't need to read them. Let's take a look around the Cherry MX board. Right off the bat, it's not a gaming keyboard. And most of the actual keyboards that we reviewed in the past are gaming keyboards, which generally means that they have extra function keys. They also light up, and they're all, spiffy and stuff. This one is just a basic keyboard that works very well. This one actually has Cherry MX red switches, and the difference is that the red and the black switches have a linear type of force curve. So they won't give you that tactile bump that you would normally associate with a mechanical keyboard, but the switches are mechanical. And like all of the actual mechanical switches that I've reviewed in the past, especially ones that deal with Cherry switches, the actual point where the key press is registered is very light. So like it's barely anything, and the key press will actually register. And like I said, the force is linear. So as you're pushing down, the force is the same to push it all the way down. On the brown series or the blue series has a really audible click when it goes click. And the brown one has a tactile, you feel it when you actually depress the key. This one is all linear. It's just a nice smooth motion. And I hate saying this, it feels like a membrane keyboard, but a lot better. I mean, that's the best way I can describe what a red switch feels like. If you actually look at the keys themselves, they're actually smaller in height than a normal sized keyboard. The keyboard is actually pretty thin compared to all the gaming ones that we've done in the past. And I actually like that a lot for productivity usage. The problem that I have with a lot of gaming keyboards is they're humongous. It's just so large, and there's no reason to be so large. And this one is just a nice, simple to use workstation type of keyboard, and that's really what this is targeting. Since this is pretty much a workstation type of keyboard, you're still going to get some multimedia features on these types of keyboards. The biggest one is volume control. Thankfully, Cherry includes volume controls directly with keys. There's no reason to actually hide them with a function key. Like on a couple of other keyboards we reviewed, you had to hit a function and then hit the volume up and down. Not so with this keyboard. These three keys right here control mute, audio up, and audio down. And that's pretty much good to go. You don't have to worry about hitting a function key to actually access them. There is a fourth key that actually disables the Windows key. And that one you actually have to hit a function for. But who cares about that? Like I said before, you can notice that the keyboard is pretty thin, and as a workstation keyboard, that's great. The keys themselves are not loud, so if you remember last time when I actually reviewed any of the blue switch type of keyboard, which I think the Kingston keyboard that I reviewed in the past had blue switches. The problem with having switches that actually have some type of harder tactile feel when you actually depress the key is that they're actually kind of loud. The blue switches, I couldn't use on a conference call, and I'm sure it'd be really annoying in an office. So something that has barely audible key presses is something you would want to use in a workstation environment. The layout of the keyboard is fairly standard, 104 key, with some extra multimedia keys up here. You get a full-size number pad, and swinging around, it actually has feet to actually raise the keyboard, but I never use them. In fact, somebody told me to never use feet on the keyboard because when you're actually operating a keyboard, you don't want your wrists to tweak up like this. You want to have your wrists nice and flat when you're using a keyboard. And because this is a nicer and thin keyboard, you can actually use your wrists stay in a more neutral position, which is very important. Nobody wants carpal tunnel. The actual functionality of this keyboard is great. Even though it's a standard keyboard, it has full end key rollover, which means you can press as many keys as you want. They're all going to register. And in games, in productivity, everything, never had anything issues with ghosting or key failure pressing or anything else. The actual keys themselves are, the keyboard itself is really easy to get used to. Once you get over the fact that this does not feel like a traditional mechanical keyboard, due to the fact that it has no bump in the actual force curve when you actually depress a key. Swinging around to the top of the keyboard, you see the mini USB slot, and they give you a mini USB cable. Now, I understand the reason that things still use mini USB, because once you plug this in, you're probably not going to unplug it, and once you plug this into the computer, that's pretty much good to go. And because this is a workstation keyboard, you're not going to be taking this into LAN parties, if they even have those anymore. Do they have those anymore? I don't even know, but if they do, let me know. I'd like to go to one, just to see how it works. One thing that I always mention in reviews about input devices like keyboards is that the use and if you like something is very subjective. For instance, I like this keyboard after I got used to it, and like I said, it felt a lot like a regular membrane keyboard, except better. And it's really hard for me to explain how that made sense. Like, it's something you have to try. Like, for instance, it just feels a lot better than a membrane keyboard, even though the actual feel is almost exactly like a membrane keyboard. It's not like a traditional mechanical keyboard that has that bump in the force curve. The linear feel is just unique, and it's hard to explain. You really have to try it before you buy something like this. If you can go to a store that has this type of keyboard, this type of device, it's always better to try before you buy. That being said, I understand this is a review, and now I'll give you my opinion on the matter. Once I got used to the actual feel of the keyboard, it was a dream to really type on. Because the keyboard profile is lower than the normal ones that I used to use, the gaming ones, my wrists felt a little better. Everything just felt a little more natural. The key stroke, the actual amount of depression I had to do to actually register a key, just like a normal mechanical keyboard. And really, it really is a great mechanical keyboard for productivity. For gaming, it was also fine. But I understand that a lot of people like to have lighted keyboards, and they like to have things that have macro support. But if you're not one of those people, like myself, like, let's face it, just stick a keyboard in front of me and I'll play a game, no problem. This one worked just fine in that scenario as well. The other thing that I really like is the size. This is pretty much a standard size keyboard, so it'll fit in a area that expects a standard size keyboard. Unlike a gaming keyboard, which has extra sets of keys or is gigantic and it may not fit on your desk, this one really should fit on your desk. And I like that. This keyboard retails for about $80 right now on Amazon, and for that price, it's pretty good, considering you get a mechanical keyboard that is built well. I mean, you look at it, it's built very well. Granted, there's no lights or anything on it, but for an office type of environment or a standard mechanical keyboard that you just want and it just works, this is something that's a no-brainer to purchase. Just remember, again, this is something that you really should try before you buy, especially with this type of mechanical switch. The red switches just feel way different than the blue or the brown ones. So there you go. ASE Labs and ASE Publishing would like to thank Cherry for sending this product for review. You can check out links in the description below or at ASE Labs to purchase this product from various merchants. Probably Amazon, and probably for around $80. For ASE Labs and ASE Publishing, I'm Aaron Schatz, and thank you for watching. Remember, there's a subscribe button right below my finger here. You can hit that, and you'll be informed of all the content as we post them. And we got a few more reviews coming soon. If you saw the unboxings, remember, we post unboxings first, then we actually do the review. And if you don't have time to watch these reviews, because they are generally long, I can save you some trouble. There's a 1-minute review. On every review that we post, if you check the description, there is a link to a 1-minute review. We have condensed this entire review. We just smash it, all balled into 1 minute or less. Gives you an overview of the product that we're doing, and when you have time, come back, watch the full review. If you can't do either of them, check ASE Labs. You can read the text summary, where we summarize the entire thing into 2 short paragraphs. You have no reason to not read, and view our content. There you go. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. We always love to hear your feedback. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.